Good Tuesday afternoon, folks. I'm NTV Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear. Wanted to give you a quick update on Hurricane Teddy and what we can expect as we go into tonight, tomorrow, and even Thursday across Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, what I have been saying over the last couple of days is still holding true. The worst of this is going to be felt down across parts of northeastern Nova Scotia from near the Canso Strait up across Cape Breton Island. That's where we're expecting the rain and hurricane force gusts or nearing hurricane force, which is 119 kilometers per hour, Wednesday afternoon. Across the rest of Nova Scotia and across most of Newfoundland, winds are not going to be higher than 80 kilometers per hour between tomorrow and Thursday, although it looks like parts of the south coast may see winds gusting as high as 100 as we go into tonight, parts of tomorrow, especially in the afternoon and evening, and then again potentially during part of Thursday, as it looks like Thursday is looking quite breezy across most of coastal Labrador and most of coastal and eastern Newfoundland, which is why I have in here gusts to 80 kilometers per hour Wednesday and again on Thursday. Now, insofar as the rain is concerned, most of that falls tonight into tomorrow, and in Labrador it's done with by early Thursday morning. As we take a look at the tropical tracker here, Hurricane Teddy beginning to weaken a little bit, at least on the satellite presentation, but still listed as a Category 2 hurricane, winds 160, gusting 205 kilometers per hour, moving north-northwest 26, heading toward Nova Scotia, and the barometer reading 956 millibars in the center of the storm. As we take a look at what it looks like on the satellite and radar picture, the outer bands of rain already beginning to lash parts of Nova Scotia and southern Newfoundland, but the worst of the storm is down here around the circulation. That's where the highest winds are found, and that's where the worst and heaviest rain is found. And this isn't going to be near Nova Scotia until we get into the latter part of the day tomorrow. So we have a long time to go before we start to see the real significant impacts. That being said, high waves already being felt, storm surge going to be an issue across parts of coastal Nova Scotia and potentially southern areas of Newfoundland tonight and again as we go into Wednesday. So here's the latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. Looks like the storm does begin to weaken from here on out, and by tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, making landfall just south of the Canso Strait, potentially in Nova Scotia, just east of Halifax, with winds of 110 kilometers per hour. And as we go into tomorrow evening, going to be near or over the Port-au-Port Peninsula, and then north of Newfoundland, as we go into Thursday. Now, keep in mind what you're seeing here as far as the wind forecast goes is where the strongest winds are going to be felt, and that area is going to start to get rather small as the storm begins to weaken. Here's what I mean. Here's the wind speeds right now around the storm. Hurricane force wind speeds without a doubt, but watch what happens as we go through time. The high wind speeds really begin to diminish as the storm moves toward Nova Scotia, moves away from the Gulf Stream, gets into some colder water. As we get into early Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, that's when we see the strongest winds affecting areas of northeastern Nova Scotia, gusts as high as 100-120, but across Newfoundland, by the time the storm comes across the Cabot Strait, sitting right here early Wednesday evening, the winds are going to be gusting 80-100 along the south coast. Higher in the Wreck House area, but along the south coast, that's where the winds are going to be strongest as we go into Wednesday evening. Other areas we're talking about winds gusting as high as 80 Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, and in some areas into the day on Thursday. This is not going to be like Igor. This may bring some localized power outages to some areas, but across Newfoundland, this is not going to be a very severe event. At least that's how it looks right now. So here's FUTURECAST showing the rain moving in around Teddy. As we go into midnight, heavy rain across western and southwestern Newfoundland. As we get into 5-6 o'clock tomorrow morning, that heavy rain is working its way across eastern areas. Risk of a thunder shower as well. As we go into midday tomorrow, the heaviest rain has moved offshore. We're watching Teddy working its way north into the Cabot Strait. This is where the highest winds are going to be, right along the eastern flank of the storm. So a brief period of some real high winds tomorrow evening along the south coast. Again, 80-100. And that will about do it. As the storm begins to work through the Strait of Belle Isle, it's weakening. The pressure is coming up. Yes, we're going to see some gusty winds, 70-80 kilometers per hour, perhaps a bit higher over some exposed areas. But again, this is not going to be a widespread, super impactful event for our province, which is a good thing. As far as the forecast wind gusts go, here we are as we go into tonight. There's that first peak of high winds along the south coast, 80 to 90. As we get to 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, areas of the Burin Peninsula, parts of the Avalon are going to get into some high gust, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour or so. As we go into Wednesday evening, that's when Teddy's going to begin to work its way toward western Newfoundland, and we get a second period of high winds along the southwest coast tomorrow evening. And then as a storm begins to work its way through the Gulf, areas just alongside it will see a brief period of high winds, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour, and then eastern Newfoundland will see some high wind gusts rather on Thursday as Teddy pulls away. But we're still talking about gusts 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. Nothing widespread over 100, and it looks like very few areas, if any, aside from the wreck house, will see hurricane force winds out of this, which is what we want to see. So far as the rainfall forecast goes, tonight through Thursday, highest amount is going to be along the south coast, where some spots could see as much as 60 or 70 millimeters of rain. As we get north and east of there, looks like a run-of-the-mill 30 to 50 millimeter rain event, which is not a big deal in the grand scheme of Newfoundland and Labrador weather. So that's how it looks for now. I'll have an updated forecast for you coming up shortly on the evening news hour. There are several watches and warnings in place. I'll go over them. But again, what I'm trying to tell you is this will be a semi-disruptive storm for Newfoundland, Labrador. We're going to see some wind, some rain, but the worst impacts are going to be down across the maritime provinces. Also, if you're sailing on Marine Atlantic, check with them because I think the sailings for tonight have been canceled, and we'll see when they resume as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. All right, folks, have a great day, and I'll see you in a little less than 2 hours on NTV's First Edition.